The office smelled like burnt coffee and lies. I stood frozen, staring at Liam and Clara. They stood too close, like they'd practiced this moment. "What did you just say?" I asked, my voice rough. Liam folded his arms. "I said we sold it, Ethan. The deal's done." My throat went dry. "You sold the company." "My company?" "Our company," he corrected. "You weren't leading anymore. You were drifting." "Drifting?" I laughed, hollow and bitter. "I worked every night for 3 years. You'd still be coding in your garage without me." Clara stepped forward, her eyes cold. "Stop yelling." "We did what we had to." I stared at her. "We? So you're in this too?" She didn't blink. "Yes, you're too sentimental to run a business. Liam understands what it takes to win." My heart hammered so hard I thought I'd pass out. "To win? By stabbing me in the back?" "Don't be dramatic," Liam muttered. "You'll still get a payout." "A payout?" I whispered. "You think this was about money?" Clara sighed. "Everything is about money, Ethan. You just refuse to see it." I looked between them, my best friend, my girlfriend, the two people I'd trusted most. "You two, when did this start?" Liam looked away. Clara didn't. 6 months ago, she said softly. The words hit harder than any punch. 6 months. While we were celebrating new investors? While I was calling you family? "Ethan," Liam said, "you're making this harder than it needs to be." "I built this from nothing," I said. "Every idea, every client, mine. And now it's ours," Clara replied. "You'll thank us one day." I stared at her, my chest tightening. "You used to say we'd build a future together." She shrugged. "We are, just not with you." Something inside me cracked. "So that's it? You sell me out, sleep with my best friend, and call it business?" Liam stepped closer. "Don't twist it." "Clara and I don't," I snapped. "Don't you dare say it." He paused, guilt flickering in his eyes before vanishing. "You're not fit to lead. That's the truth." I laughed, but it came out broken. "No, the truth is you were always jealous. Every late night, every success, I saw it. You hated that people respected me more." Liam clenched his jaw. "You think you're better than everyone." "I think I believed in loyalty," I said. Clara's voice cut through. "Enough, we didn't come here to argue. Sign the documents and walk away. It's over." I looked down at the papers on my desk. My company's logo stared back like a gravestone. My hands shook. "You really planned this together?" Liam nodded. "We did what you couldn't." I met his eyes. "Congratulations, Liam. You finally became the man you always envied." He flinched. Clara crossed her arms. "This conversation's pointless." I turned to her. "I hope the money keeps you warm, Clara." She smirked. "It will." Something inside me went quiet. I grabbed my jacket and walked past them. "You'll regret this," I said softly. "Both of you!" Liam's voice followed me. "Don't threaten us." I didn't answer. The elevator doors closed between us, sealing the moment like a coffin lid. Outside, rain poured over the city. I wandered without direction, my mind replaying their words again and again. Too sentimental. Not fit to lead. I ended up at a bar near the old office. The bartender gave me a sympathetic look. "Rough night?" I nodded. "You could say that. Whiskey?" "Make it 2. The first burn felt good. Sharp, honest. Not like their lies. My phone buzzed. A message from Clara. "Please don't make this ugly. It's business, nothing personal." I stared at it until the letters blurred. Then I typed back, "Everything you touched was personal." I didn't send it. I deleted it and finished the drink instead. When I stumbled outside, the storm had worsened. Lightning flashed across the skyline. My car waited by the curb, silent and faithful, like the last thing that hadn't betrayed me. I sat inside and gripped the wheel. My reflection in the windshield looked unfamiliar, eyes hollow, face pale. "They took everything," I whispered, my voice cracked. "Everything." I pressed my head against the steering wheel. Memories flooded in. Clara's laugh, Liam's promises, our late nights dreaming of success. All lies, the rain hammered harder. I turned the key, engine growling to life. "If I had another chance," I muttered, "I'd do it differently." Thunder answered. I drove aimlessly through the city, headlights cutting through sheets of water. My thoughts were a blur of rage and regret. I imagined walking into that office tomorrow, watching their smiles fade as they realized I wasn't broken. But I was. Completely. The world outside flickered between light and shadow. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Clara. You'll thank me someday for pushing you to dream bigger. I laughed, bitter and loud. Dream bigger? You killed the dream. My chest ached, but I couldn't stop driving. The road curved sharply. My tires screeched. The world tilted. For a split second, everything slowed. Glass shattered. Metal twisted. As darkness closed in, one thought cut through the chaos. Sharp. Clear, final. If I had another chance, I'd destroy them both. The first thing I heard was the alarm. That same annoying ringtone I'd deleted years ago. I opened my eyes to the ceiling of my old apartment, cracked paint, yellow light, dust floating like ghosts. My heart pounded. No, this can't be real. I sat up fast. The small room smelled of burnt coffee and overworked nights. My laptop sat on the desk, old, slow, dented. The same coffee stain on the corner. I touched it with trembling fingers, warm, real. I stumbled to the window. The skyline outside looked younger. Half the new buildings weren't even there yet. 2 years, I whispered. I'm 2 years back. My reflection in the glass looked younger too, less tired, less broken. But the memory of that crash was fresh. I remembered the sound of twisting metal, the last thought burning in my skull. If I had another chance, my phone buzzed on the desk. I grabbed it. The date flashed, 2 years earlier. My throat tightened. It's real. I'm really back. Someone knocked on the door. Ethan, you alive? It was Sophie's voice, steady, cheerful. I froze. Sophie, my one loyal employee. She was still here. I opened the door. She blinked at me. You look like you saw a ghost, I laughed shakily. Maybe I did. You okay? She asked, stepping in. You've been working too hard again? I stared at her face, the same gentle smile I used to overlook. Yeah, just long night. She handed me coffee. Drink, you look half dead. I took it, my hand shaking. Thanks, she tilted her head. You sure you're okay? I'm fine, I said. Actually, better than fine. Really? Yeah, I smiled faintly. Today's the day everything changes, she laughed. That's dramatic, even for you. You'll see. As she left, I sat down at the desk. My heart raced.
2 years earlier?
That meant Clara hadn't betrayed me yet. Liam was still pretending to be my friend. The company hadn't been sold. I opened my inbox. Emails from investors, Clara's messages, meeting schedules, all still there. I knew what each one would lead to. Every handshake, every smile, every lie. I whispered, not this time. The phone rang again. Liam. I stared at his name flashing on the screen. My stomach twisted. I almost didn't answer. Then I did. Yeah? Morning, man, he said brightly. Ready for the investor pitch? Always, I said, keeping my voice flat. You sound weird. You okay? Just thinking. About what? How fast things change, I said softly. He laughed. That's deep. Come on, don't overthink it. We're finally close, Ethan. We just need to trust each other. Trust. The word tasted bitter. Yeah, I said. Trust. Good. Clara's coming too. She said you haven't called her in days. I swallowed hard. Been busy. You should make time. She's been worried. Right, I said. I'll see you both soon. I hung up before he could answer. My hand trembled slightly, but my mind felt clearer than ever. I knew how their story ended. I just had to rewrite it. I opened my notes and began typing. Plans, names, timelines. Every betrayal, every manipulation I remembered, I turned into strategy. This time I wouldn't fall. By noon, Clara called. Hey, stranger, she said sweetly. You disappeared on me. I've been thinking, I said. About what? About us. About the company, she laughed softly. You sound serious. I am. Well, don't overthink, she said. We're partners. You and me against the world, remember? I smiled faintly. Yeah, I remember. Good. Don't scare me with that tone. I wouldn't dream of it, I said. See you later. When I hung up, I stared at my reflection again. My eyes looked colder now, sharper. For the rest of the day, I went through every file, every message, and every plan they'd use to destroy me later. I was done being the fool. At sunset, Sophie returned with reports. You're still here, she said. Yeah, I said, standing. I've got a new plan. For what? For everything, she frowned. You sound different. Maybe I am. She studied me quietly. You've changed, I smiled. No, Sophie. I've just finally opened my eyes. She looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. Whatever you're planning, I hope it's worth it. Oh, it will be, I said. It's going to change everything. As the door closed behind her, I stared out at the city lights flickering through my window. Last time, they broke me. This time, I'll break their illusion instead, I whispered into the quiet room. Round 2 begins now. I can't believe we're doing this again, I murmured, stirring my coffee while Clara scrolled through her phone. The same cafe, the same table, the same date that used to make me feel alive. She looked up, smiling faintly. You love this place. You used to say the smell of roasted beans helped you think. I did, I said quietly. Guess I still do. Her eyes lingered on me, searching for something. You seem different lately. Different? I forced a chuckle. In what way? You're quieter, more distant. She leaned forward. Are you stressed about the pitch next week? I nodded, pretending to sigh. Yeah, the investors are always a pain. You know how it is. She reached across the table, touching my hand. You'll do great. You always do. Not this time, I thought. This time, I'll let you believe that until I pull everything out from under you. Back at the office, Liam was already in my chair, feet on my desk like he owned it. Ethan, there's my visionary. You ready for the big show? I forced a grin. Always. You seem confident. Of course. He gestured to the whiteboard covered in numbers. We're going to blow them away. Clara's got the pitch deck polished, and I've lined up Marcus Hale for the intro. My heart skipped. Marcus Hale, the man who'd once ruined me. But now, 2 years earlier, he was still just a name on our contact list. Marcus, huh? I said casually. He's a shark, Liam laughed. Exactly why we need him. Don't worry, I'll handle him. You just look pretty and talk vision. Right, I said, forcing my jaw to relax. Vision. Got it. That night, I stared at the same laptop, the same flickering cursor, the same file that would one day be stolen from me. Only this time I created another one, a ghost file hidden behind layers of encryption. My real company plan, my second life. Every line I typed was a seed of revenge. When my phone buzzed, I didn't need to look to know who it was. Working late again? Clara asked when I answered. Someone's got to make sure we don't drown, I said. She giggled. You always worry too much. Liam says you should learn to relax. Liam says a lot of things. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, I said softly. Just tired. The next morning, Sophie stopped by my desk holding a coffee. You look like you haven't slept. I didn't, I admitted. She tilted her head. You're acting weird. Like you're pretending to be yourself, but not really. I smiled faintly. That's because I'm finally awake. Awake to what? To reality. She frowned, studying me. You know, that sounds like something people say before they do something reckless. I laughed quietly. Don't worry. Reckless isn't my thing anymore. Later in the conference room, Liam slapped my back. You ready to charm Hale tomorrow? I looked at the presentation slide he'd pulled up. My old pitch. The one they'd used to sell me out. Yeah, I said, pretending to review it. But I think we should tweak slide 5. The numbers there? Marcus won't like projections without equity guarantees. Liam frowned. You sure? Positive. He respects confidence. If we act like we need him, he'll gut us. He stared at me, surprised. When did you start thinking like that? I smiled. Maybe I'm just learning from you, he laughed. Guess I'm rubbing off on you, partner. You have no idea. That night, I drafted a message under a fake name to Marcus Hale's assistant. Simple, professional, calculated. Interested in discussing a side proposal regarding Project Arcadia. Confidential. I knew Marcus couldn't resist the scent of opportunity. The next day, Clara walked into my apartment uninvited, tossing her purse on the couch. You didn't call me back last night. I was busy. With what? Work, she crossed her arms. Ethan, you're shutting me out again. Again? I raised an eyebrow. You make it sound like a pattern. Because it is, she said. You do this when you're scared. You hide, I leaned back. Maybe I'm just tired of pretending everything's fine when it's not. She blinked. What's not fine? You tell me, I said softly. Do you ever feel guilty? Guilty? She repeated. About what? I smiled faintly. Nothing. Just wondering, she sighed and sat beside me. You're strange lately, but I like it. You seem more confident. Confidence looks good on me? It does, she whispered. You'll thank me someday for pushing you to dream bigger. I met her gaze and smiled. And you'll regret it someday when I'm done. She laughed, thinking it was a joke, if only she knew. That evening, Marcus Hale called. His voice was smooth and curious. I got your message. You've got guts reaching out like this. I prefer initiative, I replied. Then you and I might get along, he said. Tell me, why contact me off the record? Because I know what's coming, I said. And I want in before the storm hits, he chuckled. You sound like a man with a grudge. Let's just say I'm a man who learned his lesson early. Well then, he said. I'm listening. After the call, I sat in silence, watching the city lights shimmer through the rain-streaked window. 2 years ago, I would have been terrified. But now, every lie I told, every fake smile I gave, every word I let them believe, it was all part of the plan. Playing the fool again was easy. I'd done it once before. This time, I'd do it better. I woke up before sunrise, staring at the ceiling. My second life had begun weeks ago, but every morning still felt unreal. The air was thick with silence, but my mind was loud with plans. When Sophie called, her voice broke that silence. You haven't slept again, have you? I don't have time to sleep, I said, staring at the empty coffee cup on my desk. I already wasted one life. I won't waste this one. You're scaring me, Ethan, I smiled faintly. Good, that means I'm on the right path, she sighed. What are you planning? Balance, I said simply. This time they won't take everything from me. I'll give them the illusion of control and let them choke on it. By the time I reached the office, Liam was already there, leaning against my desk like he owned it. Morning, partner, he said, grinning that fake grin I used to mistake for charm. Morning, I said evenly, setting my bag down. He frowned. You're calm today. No coffee-fueled lectures about innovation? Trying something new, I replied. Listening more, he laughed. Finally! Maybe you'll let me handle the investors this time, I nodded slowly. You'll get your chance. He thought he'd won something. I could see it in his eyes, the same arrogance that would one day ruin him. Later that afternoon, Clara showed up at the office with her usual perfume cloud. She leaned against the doorway, watching me type. You've been distant lately, she said softly. Work, I answered. That's all you ever say now. I turned to her. Would you rather I lie? She blinked. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, I said, forcing a smile. I'm just tired. She moved closer, resting a hand on my shoulder. Don't shut me out, Ethan. You know I'm here for you. Her voice was warm, but I could already see the cracks. I remembered every line she'd fed me before betraying me the first time, and yet I let her play her part again. I know, I said quietly. You've always been my motivation, she smiled, thinking she'd disarmed me. That's more like it. A week later, I met Marcus Hale in a quiet cafe downtown. He hadn't changed. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. You look like hell, he said as I sat down. Feels accurate. He studied me for a moment. You sure you want to do this? Starting from scratch again? I'm not starting from scratch, I said. I'm starting with foresight, he leaned back. You're different. I learned the cost of trusting the wrong people. Marcus sipped his espresso. So what's the plan? I slid a folder across the table. A new company. Hidden name. Hidden team? We'll let Liam think I'm still his loyal co-founder while we build something better behind the scenes. Marcus raised a brow. You're building 2 companies at once? Technically, I'm building one, I said. Theirs is already collapsing. They just don't know it yet, he smirked. Cold, I like it. It's not cold, I said, leaning forward. It's balance. They took everything from me once. This time, I'll take what's mine and let karma finish the rest. At night, Sophie worked beside me at my apartment. The place still smelled like old coffee and printer ink. You really trust Marcus? She asked, not looking up from her laptop. I trust his greed, I said. He wants profit, not betrayal. That makes him predictable, she typed quietly. You sound colder lately, I paused. You said I was too trusting before. You were right, she turned to face me. I liked you better when you believed in people. I looked at her for a long moment. Belief didn't save me, Sophie. Strategy will, her eyes softened. You deserve peace, Ethan. Peace doesn't come before justice. 2 months passed. I watched Liam move exactly as I remembered, pitching to investors, overpromising, hiding numbers. I let him. I even nodded during meetings, pretending to admire his brilliance. Clara, too, began her subtle shift. Late replies, new dresses, mysterious client dinners, every move was déjà vu. One evening, she walked into the apartment glowing with false excitement. "Guess what?" she said. "Liam and I met a potential investor tonight."
He thinks your ideas are...
"Too idealistic. But he likes Liam's focus," I nodded. "Makes sense. Liam's always been better with numbers." Her eyes widened slightly. "That's it? No argument?" "No," I said calmly. "You deserve someone who believes in your dreams," she smiled awkwardly. "You're being weird lately." Maybe I'm just seeing things clearly for once. When she left, I called Marcus. "It's starting," I said. "She's drifting?" "Exactly on schedule," he chuckled. "You're frighteningly precise." "Pain makes good memory," I said. "And I remember everything." Days later, Sophie cornered me at the office. "You knew this would happen," she said, eyes flashing. "I did." "And you're just letting it?" "For now. You're letting her cheat again?" I met her gaze. "I'm letting her reveal who she's always been." Sophie's voice broke. "Doesn't it hurt?" I smiled faintly. "It used to." That night, Clara came home late again. The smell of someone else's cologne lingered on her clothes. She hesitated at the door when she saw me sitting on the couch. "You're still up," she said. "I couldn't sleep." She fidgeted. "Work was crazy," I nodded. "I'm sure it was." She avoided my eyes. "Ethan, don't start." "I won't," I said quietly. "I wish you happiness, Clara," she froze. "What?" "You heard me." Her voice trembled. "You're not angry?" "No," I said. "I'm just done pretending." She stared at me like I'd spoken another language. "You're not the man I knew." "You never knew me," I replied. When she stormed out, slamming the door, the silence that followed wasn't painful. It was freeing. As I sat alone, I whispered to myself, revenge isn't about anger anymore. It's about balance. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, I felt calm. The seeds were planted. All I had to do now was wait for them to grow. The storm broke the same night their world did. I stood by the window watching lightning slice through the sky while my phone buzzed nonstop on the table. The first call was from Liam. I let it ring twice before answering. "You sound nervous," I said, my voice steady. "Ethan, listen, there's been a mistake," he stammered. "The buyer pulled out at the last second. The deal fell apart. The board's in chaos. We need to talk." I leaned against the glass, staring at my reflection. "You mean you're bored?" "Your deal," he swallowed audibly. "Don't do this, man. We can fix it together, just like before." "Like before," I repeated softly. "When you stood in my office and told me I wasn't fit to lead?" He hesitated. "That was business. You know how things get?" "Sure," I said. "Cold, calculated, like selling someone's life's work behind their back." He raised his voice. "You don't understand, Ethan. Clara," I laughed quietly. "Oh, I understand perfectly." He went silent for a few seconds. "You did something, didn't you?" "I did a lot of things," I said. "You should have paid attention." "Ethan, please," he said, desperation creeping into his tone. "We can merge with you. Your new startup, Novacore, right? I know you've got investors lined up. Let's join forces again." "You can't merge with what doesn't need you," I said. "You already fixed everything, Liam." "Fixed?" he asked weakly. "For me?" I finished. He cursed under his breath. "You set us up." "I gave you the same choices you gave me," I said. "You sold the company I built, and I sold the patent rights before you could. The moment you signed those papers, your empire turned to dust." There was silence, then a trembling whisper.
Ethan, what have you done?
"I just learned how to stop being the fool," I said, and ended the call. My phone buzzed again almost instantly. "Clara." I didn't answer. Then another and another. "Please, just hear me out. I made a mistake. We were trying to save everything." Her words flashed across the screen like ghosts from a life that no longer existed. I didn't reply. Minutes later, Sophie walked in holding a cup of coffee. "They're panicking," she said. "News broke an hour ago. Investors are pulling out." I nodded. "It's happening faster than I thought." She sat down across from me. "You're calm. I've had practice," I said. Sophie studied me. "Do you feel anything?" "Relief," I said. Not joy, not hate, just relief. That afternoon, I met Marcus at the NovaCore office. The place was buzzing with energy. Young developers, bright screens, the smell of new beginnings. Marcus grinned when he saw me. "You made the news. Your old company's shares dropped 70% overnight." "Good," I said. He handed me a tablet. "You might want to see this." On the screen was a photo of Liam and Clara leaving their office. Paparazzi lights flashing, faces pale. Marcus chuckled. "They look like they've seen a ghost." "They have," I said. "Mine," he raised an eyebrow. "What's next for you?" "Expansion," I said. "NovaCore goes global. You're not going to reach out to them?" he asked. I looked at him. "Would you?" he smiled. "Fair point." Later that evening, I sat alone in my apartment, the same place where everything once fell apart. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Clara. "Ethan, please. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but we loved each other once." "Doesn't that mean anything?" I typed slowly. It did. "But love without loyalty means nothing." Then I deleted it. Silence was stronger. Sophie knocked lightly. "You okay?" "Define okay?" She came in, setting her laptop on the table. "You could at least read her messages." "Closure, maybe?" I shook my head. "Closure is overrated. Peace is enough." She studied me for a long moment. "You've changed more than I expected." "I told you," I said quietly. "Rebirth changes people." "Then what's left, Ethan?" "You got your revenge. What now?" I thought for a moment. "Now I build. This time, no shortcuts, no false friends." The next morning, a call came from an unknown number. I answered out of curiosity. "Ethan," Clara's voice cracked on the other end. "I just want to talk." "I think we've done enough talking," I said. "I didn't know Liam was going to sell the company that way," she said quickly.
He said it was the only way to save it.
"I swear I didn't know about the patents." "You didn't need to," I said. "You were too busy doubting me," she exhaled shakily. "I made a mistake. I know. I still care about you." I closed my eyes, leaning back. "No, Clara. You care about losing." She went silent. "I hope you find peace," I said, and ended the call. Later that day, Marcus called again. "We just got our first big deal confirmed. NovaCore's officially valued at 5 times your old company's peak." I smiled faintly. "Poetic. You going to celebrate?" he asked. "I already did," I said. The moment I stopped caring about their apology. That night, rain tapped softly against my window, the same rhythm as the night I crashed my car in another life. The irony wasn't lost on me. Sophie's voice broke the quiet. "Do you ever think about what might have happened if you hadn't died that night?" I stared at the city lights below. "I think I'd still be there, fool," she nodded. "So in a way, dying saved you." "Rebirth gave me clarity," I said. "But pain gave me purpose." Hours later, another message came through from Liam. "You won, Ethan. Are you happy now?" I typed back, "No one wins in Betrayal, Liam, but some of us learn." Then I hit send. When I finally shut my phone off, the quiet felt different. Clean, almost peaceful. I stood by the window again, watching the rain fade into mist. For the first time, I wasn't angry. I wasn't broken. I was free. I whispered to myself, "You already fixed it, Liam, for me." And this time, I meant it. Ryan's office smelled like new money and ambition, the kind of air Liam used to dream about. I walked in, calm, the hum of success steady in my chest. NovaCore logos lined the walls, our partnership banners bright behind him. "Ethan!" Ryan stood all charm. "Glad you could make it. I've been dying to show you the new team." I smiled, adjusting my cufflinks. "I'm sure they're impressive." He gestured toward the glass doors. "Come in, you two." The doors opened. Clara walked in first, confidence faltering the moment our eyes met. Liam followed, his smile freezing halfway. Ryan's voice was cheerful. "Ethan, meet my new leads, Clara Hayes and Liam Carter." I turned slowly, letting silence stretch just long enough to burn. "Oh," I said, smiling. "We've met." Clara swallowed hard. "Ethan, I didn't know you worked with Ryan." "I finished for her." "Yeah, small world." Liam cleared his throat. It's good to see you, man. Congrats on Novacore's success. Thanks, I said evenly. I heard you've been busy. Ryan laughed, oblivious. These two are brilliant. Sharp, driven, exactly the kind of energy I need for expansion. I looked at him. Energy's good, as long as it's clean. Clara's hands trembled. Liam's jaw tightened. Ryan glanced between us. You three have history? You could say that, I replied. We built something once. They tore it down. Ryan frowned, slightly confused. Sounds complicated. It was, I said. But I prefer simple things now. Honest partnerships. Transparent teams, Liam shifted, voice low. Ethan, can we talk privately? I smiled without warmth. You had 2 years for that. You chose silence, Clara's voice broke in. It wasn't like that. Then what was it? I asked, eyes on hers. Greed, fear? Or did betrayal just feel exciting? Her lips parted, but nothing came out. Ryan's assistant appeared at the door. Mr. Cole, the press conference in 10 minutes. Ryan nodded. Perfect timing. Ethan, let's talk later about joint ventures. Of course, I said. As we shook hands, Liam tried to meet my eyes. I didn't give him the satisfaction. Later that evening, my phone buzzed. Ryan's name. Ethan, he began, cautious now. I'm getting mixed signals. You seemed tense earlier. I was fine, I said smoothly. Just surprised by your hires. They come highly recommended, he said. But if there's something I should know... There is, I interrupted. They'll destroy you from the inside if you let them. A pause. You're serious? Completely, I said. They've done it before. Fire them, publicly. That's harsh, Ryan muttered. Necessary, I replied. Trust me, Ryan. Some people only understand consequence when it's witnessed. He hesitated, then exhaled. All right. Tomorrow morning, then. Good choice, I said, and ended the call. The next day, the press conference hall buzzed with cameras and chatter. I stood near the front, expression calm as Ryan stepped onto the stage. Before we begin, he announced, a quick staffing update. Clara and Liam stood near the side wall, unaware. Ryan continued, voice firm. Effective immediately, Clara Hayes and Liam Carter are no longer part of this organization. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Liam's face went pale. Ryan, wait. Ryan didn't. Security moved in quietly. Clara turned toward me, panic in her eyes. Ethan, please, don't let them do this. I looked at her, my voice steady. I didn't let them do anything. You did, Liam's voice cracked. Ethan, you can't. I already did, I said. The flashbulbs caught her tears as security escorted them out. Liam's protest faded behind the closing doors. Ryan approached me afterward, uneasy. That was intense, I nodded. But necessary. Now you can build without rot, he exhaled, shaking his head. You play the long game, don't you? I smiled faintly. Always. When I left the building, the cool air felt lighter. Across the street, Clara stood near the curb, her eyes hollow. Liam argued with her, furious, desperate. I paused just long enough for her to see me. She whispered something I couldn't hear, but I knew the shape of the words. Why? I gave her the same smile she once used to give me, the one that said, "You'll thank me someday." Only now, she understood what it really meant. Revenge wasn't rage anymore. It was rhythm, precision, the quiet satisfaction of balance restored. As I walked away, my phone buzzed again. Marcus. Everything went as planned? He asked. Perfectly, I said. He chuckled. You sound almost bored. Just finished, I replied. The game's over. Marcus paused. Then what's next? I looked up at the skyline, Novacore's logo gleaming on top of the tallest tower. Now, I said quietly, I build something real, and for the first time in 2 lifetimes, I meant it. The office was quiet, too quiet for a company that had just conquered the market. Novacore had everything, funding, fame, dominance, but I sat there staring at the city lights, feeling nothing. The hum of success didn't sound like victory anymore. It sounded like a question. Sophie knocked softly before entering. You're still here. I couldn't sleep, I said. Didn't feel like leaving. She sat across from me, studying my face. You should be celebrating. You won, I laughed under my breath. Did I? She frowned. You brought them down, Ethan. Liam, Clara, all of it. Everything they took from you, you took back. Yeah, I said quietly. And yet I can't shake the feeling that I lost something too. Sophie leaned forward. What could you have possibly lost? Myself, maybe, I said. Somewhere between the plans and the payback, she sighed. You sound like your mother right now. I looked up. You remember what she said? True peace isn't in destroying others. It's in finding yourself again, she quoted softly. You used to repeat it every time something went wrong. I nodded slowly. And then I forgot it the moment revenge started to feel good. Silence settled between us. The city outside blinked with artificial light, no different from the lies I'd lived through. Sophie broke the quiet. You didn't do all this just for them. You did it for you, to stop being powerless. I told myself that, I said. But power doesn't fill the hole. It just hides it, she smiled faintly. Then maybe it's time to stop hiding. I looked at her. And start what? Living, she said simply. You've been reborn, remember? Don't waste it chasing ghosts. I leaned back, her words sinking deeper than I wanted to admit. Maybe you're right. I'm always right, she teased gently. But seriously, Ethan, go see her. End it properly, I hesitated. Clara? She nodded. You'll never move on if you don't face what's left of her. The idea burned. I'd spent months pretending she didn't exist. But pretending wasn't peace, it was avoidance. The next evening, I found myself standing in front of her old apartment. The building looked smaller now, stripped of the illusions we once built inside it. I knocked. After a long pause, the door creaked open. Clara stood there thinner, pale, her eyes hollow. She froze when she saw me. Ethan? Clara, I said quietly. She hesitated, then stepped aside. You came. I did. The apartment was nearly empty. No art, no warmth, just silence. She sat on the couch, wringing her hands. I didn't think you'd ever speak to me again. I almost didn't, I said. But I needed to see it. The ending. She looked up, tears glistening. You got what you wanted. I lost everything. I nodded slowly. That was never the goal. Then what was? She whispered. To hurt me? No, I said. To understand how you could, she covered her face. I was stupid. Liam made me believe you were holding me back. That if I pushed you harder, we'd both rise. And instead, I said, you watched me burn and called it ambition. She sobbed quietly. I loved you, Ethan, I really did. I didn't flinch. You loved the version of me that needed saving. The one you could control? She looked up again, voice trembling. Do you hate me? I shook my head. No, I just don't feel anything anymore. Her tears fell harder. You always said forgiveness was strength. I did, I said softly. But I also learned that indifference is peace. She reached out, fingers trembling. If I could go back, I stood, cutting her off. We both had our second chances. I used mine differently. Her voice broke as I turned toward the door. So this is it? This is closure, I said. For both of us. Outside, the night air hit colder than I remembered. I didn't look back. When I got to my car, my phone buzzed. Sophie again. Well? She asked. I saw her, I said. And? She's empty, I said. But so was I, until now, she smiled through the line. I could hear it. So what now? I looked out at the city skyline. The same view I used to chase, now just lights and distance. Now I start over, I said. No more revenge. No more ghosts, she laughed softly. That sounds like peace talking. Maybe it is, I said. Or maybe it's just the quiet after the storm, she paused. You sound lighter. I am, I said. For the first time, I'm not defined by them. Or what they did. Good, she whispered. That's the Ethan I remember. Maybe it's the one I'm finally becoming again. We stayed on the line in silence for a while. No need for more words. The past had already said enough. When the call ended, I sat there watching dawn bleed into the horizon. The city moved forward, uncaring, alive. I realized I wanted that too. Not vengeance, not victory, just movement. Just life. My mother's words echoed again, softer this time. Find yourself. For once, I wasn't searching through ashes or anger. I closed my eyes, breathed in, and finally felt it. The weight lifting, the world settling, and the peace I'd been too blind to see before.
The morning light spilled across the glass walls of my office, soft and golden. The hum of Novacore filled the air steady, confident, alive. It wasn't chaos anymore. It was control. My control. Sophie leaned against the doorway, arms folded. "You're early again." "Habit," I said, closing the report in front of me. "Old ghosts used to wake me before dawn." She smiled faintly. "And now? Now I wake up because I want to." She stepped inside, setting a cup of coffee on my desk. "The board meeting's at 10. Investors are ecstatic. We're expanding into 3 new markets." I nodded. "Good. Keep Marcus in the loop. I want his signature on the new partnership by next week." "Already handled," she said. "You really don't need to micromanage anymore. After what I've lived through, you'll forgive me for wanting to double-check the locks." Her laugh was soft. "You're not that man anymore, Ethan." I leaned back in my chair. "No, but he built this version of me." She studied me for a moment, then said quietly, "You know, most people would have crumbled after what happened. You rebuilt an empire." "I didn't rebuild," I said. "I evolved." She smiled. "You sound like you're giving a speech." "Maybe I am," I said. "Maybe it's time to start saying the things I never did." Her phone buzzed and she glanced at the screen. "The media wants another interview." "You're trending again. Let them talk," I said. "The noise doesn't reach me anymore." She hesitated. "You sure you're okay?" I looked around the same skyline that once mocked me, now framed my victory. "Yeah, for the first time, I think I am." Sophie nodded slowly. "Then I'll see you downstairs." When she left, the silence returned, not empty, peaceful. I stood, walking toward the window. The reflection staring back wasn't the broken man who once begged for trust or love. It was someone sharpened by loss, tempered by fire. I thought of Clara and Liam not. With anger, just distance. They were lessons now, not wounds. They'd taught me what betrayal looked like, and what strength could become after it. I whispered to myself, they thought betrayal would break me, but it was the fire that forged me. The words hung in the air, quiet but steady. I remembered the night it all fell apart. The shouting, the lies, the crash. My old office, my company, my illusion of safety. Everything had crumbled in a single night. And now, here I was, standing higher than I'd ever stood. My phone buzzed on the desk. A message from Marcus. "Congratulations, partner." "We did it," I smiled faintly. "We did." I shut my laptop and looked around one last time. The office was spotless. Every detail, deliberate, every inch earned. Sophie's voice echoed faintly from the hall. "You're leaving already?" "Just for a bit," I said. "Got somewhere I need to be?" She raised an eyebrow. "Personal or business?" "Both," I said, grabbing my coat. The elevator ride down felt strangely familiar, the same path I'd once taken in defeat. Only this time, my reflection in the mirror didn't look lost. It looked free. The car ride across town was quiet. I passed the old building, the one that used to house my first company, the one they stole. The sign had changed, the life drained from it. I parked outside anyway, drawn to the memory. The security guard nodded as I entered. "You're not supposed to be here," he said gently. "I know," I replied. "I just wanted a minute." He shrugged and waved me through. The office was smaller than I remembered, dustier, dim. I walked to the corner where my old desk once stood. The ghost of that night lived here, the betrayal, the shouting, the silence afterward. I ran a hand along the wall. "Funny," I whispered. I thought this place would haunt me forever, but it didn't. It was just an empty room now. I turned toward the doorway, the same one I'd walked through years ago, broken and furious. Back then, it felt like an ending. Now, it felt like a beginning I'd needed. I stepped forward, slowly, deliberately, as if walking through time itself. Outside, the afternoon sun bathed everything in gold. I exhaled, letting the weight of the past fall away in my mind. I heard my mother's voice again. "True peace isn't in destroying others. It's in finding yourself again." "I think I finally understand," I murmured. I walked back to the car, the city alive around me. No more ghosts. No more anger. Just clarity. When I returned to Novacor, the lobby lights shimmered like stars across glass. Employees nodded as I passed respect, not fear, in their eyes. Sophie waited near the elevator. "Everything okay?" "Better than okay," I said. She smiled knowingly. "You went back, didn't you?" "Yeah. And?" "I walked out," I said simply. "Of course you did." We rode up together in silence. When the doors opened, I stepped into my office one last time that evening. Everything felt aligned, the man. The company, the calm. I turned off the lights, the city glowing beyond the window. The reflection of my face merged with the Skyline 1 story ending. Another beginning, I whispered to the empty room. I lost everything once, but in that loss, I found who I really am. Quiet answer came not from the past, but from within. As I reached the door, I smiled faintly. "Some endings aren't endings at all," I said. "They're rebirths." This time I walked away on my own terms.